Hello, everyone. Hello, Africa. Welcome to yet again another exciting edition of Pitchside. Thank you so much for sharing the content. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the feedback. Definitely, every time that I sit down for an episode, I take the opportunity to request you who is joining us, watching the episode, to subscribe, be a part of the family. All you have to do is hit the subscription button on the YouTube channel, Pitchside with Tabo Peter. And when you do that, you'll definitely be a part of the family, get all the big stories, exclusive interviews, and all of that. And of course, you who has already subscribed, you have any reactions, please, slot down in the comment section. Tell us what you would want us to do, who you want us to host, and all of that. But thank you so much again, and welcome to yet again another exciting edition. This one certainly is about the FIFA World Cup. We all know it's 23 editions since the competition started, and there's been a lot to tell in this particular one that has, for the very first time, had 48 countries, co-hosted by 3 nations, and had 10 African countries participating in it. Joining me on this very special World Cup episode is, of course, my boss in the law field and a member of the Pitchside family, Harold Atukwatse. Harold, a pleasure having you on Pitchside. How are you?
Thank you, Peter. I'm very well. It's always a pleasure being here.
Yep.
Can't wait to delve in.
All right, really exciting. I'm pretty sure you've been glued to the World Cup, all through. I know you have a lot to talk about regarding that, and particularly the African story, which has seen 10 African nations at the competition. But Harold, just before you come in, 260 goals scored so far in 96 games, and the 10 African countries that have told the African story included South Africa, Morocco, Ivory Coast, Tunisia, Egypt, Ghana, Cape Verde, Senegal, Algeria, and DR Congo. And maybe just to add a little bit to this is that apart from Tunisia, 9 out of the 10 African countries made it to the round of 32. Then Egypt, Morocco reached the round of 16, and only Morocco reached the quarterfinals. So what a story from the African continent. Harold, how's the World Cup been for you in your eyes, and how have the African countries convinced you?
It's been a good tournament.
Yeah.
One of the most exciting ones so far for me.
Yeah.
Having started in 1998 with the France World Cup, I've observed that this has been the best festival of football since.
Best festival?
Yeah, best festival of football. When you look at 98, you look at 2002 Korea, Japan.
Yeah.
You look at 2006 in Germany.
Yeah.
You look at 2010 in Africa. It had a peculiar vibe, but I don't think the vibe was as good as it has been with the USA, Canada, and Mexico.
Yeah.
The African countries have been impressive. They've been impressive for so many reasons, but I think we made a good account of ourselves, especially with all the bad publicity.
Yeah.
Before the tournament. Gattuso's Italy doesn't qualify, and he comes out and he's ranting, why does Africa have 10 slots? And even Alexander Seferin himself, the president of the UEFA, the European Federation, coming out and criticizing the expansion of the World Cup.
Yeah.
But it has turned out well. The festival football has been good. The quality of the football on the pitch has been good. And African countries have made a good account of themselves.
Yeah, and I think also the fans, man, because if you watch most of the African countries from the group stages, they had crazy fans, man.
Yes.
Fans were all over Ghana whenever they were playing, Cape Verde as well. And I think the fans also brought the vibe. And allow me to say, Cape Verde female fans are the ones that made the headlines at the World Cup.
You may have questions to answer after this.
Absolutely not.
That's a matter for another day. But yes, Africa has always been vibrant.
Yeah.
It's come to things like that. I know that you don't remember a football tournament without the 7 or so Senegal fans with Senegal written across. Of course, we missed the Cameroon guys, but then Lumumba came through.
Yeah, we missed Nigeria too.
We missed the Nigeria guys also.
That band has played ever since I started understanding football.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, the vibe has been good.
Yeah.
Outside the African countries, I think the Norwegians brought their game.
Yeah, the Viking
they
thing.
have the trademark Viking row. Yeah, it's been a good tournament.
Yeah,
on
anyways,
and off the field.
on and off the field.
Yeah.
All right, so we specifically want to talk about the impact of the African teams at the World Cup, and I know we're going to get to the big boys as well at the football tournament. But Harold, let's get started with some of the nations that made the headlines at the
Yeah.
World Cup from the African continent. Cape Verde, first time playing at the competition, and look at just how far they went, and probably the headline is pushing Argentina to extra time and
Yeah.
making them dig deep to get a result. The Cape Verde impact at the World Cup and African football.
For me, that shows that the countries that have been deliberate about this thing are reaping big.
Yeah.
When when you read behind the stories behind the Cabo Verde national team, then you'll see a team that has been deliberate for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
You remember that there are years where Uganda used to go to Cabo Verde and win. I think Micho has had a win there.
Yeah, he did.
And
Yeah.
we also had a win here at Nambole.
Yeah.
But ever since then, they've sat down, they've scouted for talent, they have put together a team, they have looked for each and every Cabo Verdean, wherever they were in the world, and brought them to participate in the national team. And they've been organized, they've been deliberate about it, and it shows in the way they play and in the way that they are united. For me, as impressed and surprised to read that Vozinha, the goalkeeper, the 40-year-old goalkeeper, is the chief convener of the Cabo Verde national team. He is the one who's reaching out to people and saying, you know what, Cabral Lopez, please, I know you have some Cape Verdean roots. Come and play for us.
Basically, he's the Albert Ahabwe of Ugandan basketball.
He's the Albert Ahabwe, and he's done a very good job. But also, you can't rule out the work of the federation, and the federation has been very organized. They've been very deliberate in putting these guys together, in paying them what they have promised them, and in publicizing the team. The funny thing about Cape Verde is that they're just 500,000 people in Cape Verde.
It's crazy.
But they have managed to come through and put up a good performance.
Yeah, they've told a very good story.
Yes.
I've also seen Vozinha moving from I don't know how many followers to millions
7
on
million,
Instagram,
from 400 something to
and is influencing, cashing in on that, which is a very, very good thing. So Cape Verde there, an interesting story that they've put up. You feel like in the next football tournaments on the continent and in the world, they can still show up? Is it a one-off?
I don't think it's a one-off.
Yeah.
And for me, the Cape Verde story has a very big negative and then so many tiny little positives. Of course, the positives are the performance, the nation branding, and all of that. But now that they have done well, every Cabo Verdean in the world will want to play for the national team.
They'll feel proud.
So that those Portuguese who just crossed from Cabo Verde to Portugal, and they were hoping they would play for Portugal so that they can participate in the World Cup. But now if they see Cabo Verde has made it, they will have to come over. Similar story to the Buwadis. I mean, Morocco just picked a prized jewel from France right into their national team. That wouldn't have happened 10 years ago.
Absolutely.
But because the boy knows he's going to go to the World Cup and enjoy. So similar story for so many Cabo Verdeans.
All right, so that's Cape Verde for you. Let's move over to the Pharaohs of Egypt, who, of course, when they were coming into the tournament, there was not a lot said about them. We all know they had not
gotten out of decline.
Yeah, they've been on a decline. They've not gotten out of the group stages ever at the World Cup, and they come out and make that history. First time in I don't know how many years for them to reach that stage, led by Mohamed Salah, Hassan Hossam, and his twin brother. Seem to have engineered something that no one saw coming. Very good run for Egypt.
For starters, not very good performances, because I think they went through the group stages without winning a game. Winning and score. Did they score a goal in the group stages? But they went through 3 points from 3 games, and that's all they needed. Outside the groups, they made a very, very spirited defensive performance. The other element that I feel like helped most all of the African teams was the weather.
Yeah.
That
Similar to
40
what they are
degrees is
used to.
similar to what we usually have in Africa. But the standout factor for most African teams was that in games where you had a small European nation or a small South American nation, and I say small, but I'm referring to nations maybe like the Paraguays
Yeah.
or the Austrias in Europe,
Yeah.
those weren't scary for African countries because most of the African players play in those leagues and shine and they see those challenges day in, day out. So when they came up against those countries, they made a good account of themselves. Now, the Egyptian story was a bit pitiful in that when they played Argentina, they were so close and yet so far. They went 2-0 up, possibly even 3-0 up.
Yeah.
But then they were pegged back and they lost the game in added time, which was the story of so many of our African countries. But I feel like their future is bright. They did not rely on Mo Salah so much
Yeah.
as the past Egyptian
The
teams have.
goalkeeper.
The goalkeeper, yeah,
Top
came
performance.
top
Yeah.
performances, crazy saves. But Egypt hasn't struggled with goalkeepers in a while.
Yes, after El Hadri, then
From
you
El
have
Hadri, then El Shanawi, then this guy El Shanu, whatever, and then this guy. They haven't struggled with goalkeepers, but they have struggled scoring goals. Even with Mo Salah in the team, they usually 1-0, 2-0, and stuff like that. But they made a good account of themselves. I feel like they exceeded expectations.
yeah. Imam Ashore is the
Yes,
player that
Imam Ashore.
who showed up for the Egyptians, scoring 2 goals in 5 games, but very pivotal.
He's a bit of a troubled boy. I
Yeah,
saw his Zamalek, Al
yeah,
Ahly stories and how he went abroad and then came back and
yeah.
all kinds of things.
He's the Mario Balotelli of Egyptian football.
Yeah.
Yeah, but fantastic run there for the Pharaohs. But anyways, more talk about the African teams on the African continent takes us to West Africa, because Senegal was also in the mix, coming into the competition as champions of Africa after beating up on Morocco on home soil in Rabat about 6 months
You're not
ago.
sure about that.
Full-time results. Full-time result is what I'm going basing on. Yeah, but they came into the tournament with a lot of trouble off the pitch. The coach demanding for a new contract. The players probably also having their issues here and there. And finally, it showed when they couldn't go past a round of 32. And as we speak now, Papetho has been sacked. They're looking for a new coach. How do you assess the Senegal performance? A team, by the way, that has too much quality, man.
I think for me going into the tournament,
Yes.
I thought we'd have Senegal and Morocco in the last 8 of the tournament, in the quarterfinals of the tournament.
Yes.
But when the story broke that the Senegalese coach hadn't been paid since AFCON, the Senegalese coach did not have a contract going into the tournament. When the story broke that the boys were buying takeaway, they were buying food on Jumia.
Yeah.
Or they were stepping out to go to the alchemist and buy food.
Yeah.
Then I knew that they were in trouble.
For a team of that level and
Yes,
magnitude.
for a team at that level. And for me, not even Sadio Mane could galvanize them. Because before, it was easy to galvanize such boys because you have maybe a majority that have come from Senegal and gone to France and then are playing for the national team. But now the majority are from France and back to Senegal. It's not the days where most of the players have had a stint in Senegal and then gone out. So it wasn't easy. But for me, there was nothing to talk about their football. So that was the true African World Cup story, because that's not new. We've seen Ghana, we've seen Nigeria, Cameroon go through all those troubles of we haven't been paid, we haven't been this and that. So I wasn't surprised that it was happening, but I was appalled and disgusted.
All right, so Papetho is out of the picture. I mean,
At least
could we see a return of the person that he replaced?
Cisse?
Yeah, who I felt really also made history with Senegal for a very long time.
I mean, he'll be sitting out there and saying, look, I had a good legacy with this team. We did everything we could. Should I go back and tarnish my legacy, or should I now go make money and enjoy the rest of my life? But they're not short of options, the West Africans. They're not short of options.
Yeah,
Yes.
but there you go, Senegal. Not looking exactly the team that.
Abysmal.
Yeah, abysmal. Not looking exactly the team that we felt was going to do the business. Now, let's move to DR Congo. And of course, we all know Sebastian Desabre, formerly at the Uganda Cranes, had a long journey to qualify for the World Cup.
Yeah.
And he delivered when he won that playoff, got into the World Cup,
Yeah.
was in a pretty tough group.
Yeah.
But still managed to get out of the group stages. Of course, battled to actually do that. And yeah, not exactly a good story for them and how it ended. But Congo, Sebastian Desabre made a mark at the World Cup, really.
They made a mark. They were my team
Yeah.
because of all the teams in the tournament,
Yeah.
I'd only been to Congo, to DR Congo. Yes, I think it's the only country that I'd been to out of the 48. So, and them being our immediate neighbors, I was rooting for them. Congo's story is a very peculiar story, in that even their national team, like their national team before they started collecting all the stars, was a very good team. But now they've galvanized around the big stars, the Congolese living and playing in Europe. They've naturalized a very good number of some of the biggest names, even in the Premier League, the Wan Bissakas, the Axel Twanzebes, and they carried only one player from the African continent, Fiston Mayele. And even him, you could tell that he was creme de la creme, because I mean he scored one of the goals at the tournament, I think against Uzbekistan. But Desabre, being very familiar with this region and being an ever-rising coach, when you see from where he came from, even before he came to Uganda, and then from Uganda he goes to Pyramids, then he's been ever rising. I'd say his story is he's going to take a similar path as have Renard, the guy who's conquered the continent before. But yeah, they looked very organized. Being first timers, I'd go as far as even saying they were our best performers. Because I mean, even England was huffing and puffing to beat a first timer at the tournament.
Yeah,
and East
absolutely.
African at that.
Very happy for Fiston Mayele, though. Not so many have that story. Playing in Young Africans in Tanzania and going on to play for Pyramids, winning the CAF Champions League, and then playing at the World Cup and scoring at the World Cup and scoring a goal that can clearly show you he's a striker. He just in
Top
between
striker
top striker, by the way. So Fiston delivering the good news there, as you know, DR Congo also made Africa proud. The Atlas Lions, they were at the World Cup in 2022 and got the entire world on their feet, finishing the top 4. A lot of expectations after they reached the AFCON final were in the roof, even beyond, in the sky, knowing that they had quite some talent. As Edino Nahi, El Noui, they also had Brahim Diaz, Saibari,
Bono,
Yassine Bono and all.
Achraf
And
Hakimi.
here you go. Well, good start. A group that had Brazil and all of that, and then they couldn't go past the quarterfinals. Your take on the Atlas Lions, Morocco?
They made a very good account of themselves. They played as good as any of the 4 teams that are in the semi-finals now, or even better than some of them. So I think they played better than Argentina and England. They were very unfortunate. They met France. An indomitable
which
France,
is extremely deep and talented.
Yes, extremely good, and France looks like they have no weakness. And I feel like Morocco could have done better in that game if they did not enter the game with the equals mentality. I think they thought we're as good as these guys because they've grown up with them, they've seen them around. They thought we're as good as these guys, we can beat them. We don't have to respect them. And maybe you could say, having played Brazil and performed the way they did, they had the right to come into that game and the game against France and behave the way they behaved. But I have a feeling that if they were a bit more conservative, they would have gotten a result against France. They could have even knocked out France, because France capitalized on the tiny little gaps in them.
And maybe individual brilliance.
Yeah, the individual brilliance.
Yeah.
But if you're a bit more compact, I mean, you see Issa Diop, who was very impeccable for them, by the way.
Yeah.
But the distance between Issa Diop and Mbappe
Yeah.
was so big. Mbappe received, and Olise, even before Olise threads in that ball, you're thinking that if they had put up a low block or a mid block, the spaces would have been tighter and they would have gotten a result. But they played an expansive game and they got punished for it. But yeah, they were definitely the trailblazers for Africa, and the future looks bright for them. I think they'll be hosting the 2030.
Yeah.
They'll be co-hosting the 2030 World Cup. I don't see them doing anything less than semis.
They'll definitely do better. Too bad for Ismail Saibari, who got injured during the tournament. I mean, if he was fit, maybe we'll have a different story.
Absolutely.
Azedine Onahi, guys. Watch that boy. He's a
Onahi
bowler.
and Boadi.
Those two guys are bowlers.
Yeah.
Watch
But
out
man,
for them.
That team is full of bowlers. Mazarui this side.
Yeah.
Hakimi
Even Diaz.
is there, Diaz.
Yeah.
Then Issa Diop in the middle of the defense. They are impeccable. They're impeccable.
They just look fantastic.
Yeah.
Right there. Guys, Harold, as we wrap up this African storyline at the FIFA World Cup, it would be very, very unfair of me not talk about Bafana. Forgive me, guys. South Africa out of the group stages for the very first time since they ever played in this competition. And Harold, I know you're a hater, but take it in, man. It's a massive milestone for us who are South African fans and Bafana fans. A very good performance from Hugo Bruce, having been at the helm of Bafana for about 5 years, taken them to a bronze finish at the AFCON 2023. Now got them to the knockout stages. A very good run, which has unfortunately been, of course, covered by the death of Jaden Adams, who played at the World Cup not too long ago, and also helped Mamelodi Sundowns lift the CAF Champions League not too long ago as well in Morocco. The Bafana run.
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
After Mexico,
yes,
I was very happy that Bafana were coming home. I was very happy for the way they have behaved.
Yeah.
I have nothing against South African football, and if it wasn't for the xenophobia that overshadowed everything, or whatever they are doing against foreigners in South Africa, that would have been my team. The reason being that they're the only nation that has invested at home.
Yes.
I think there are just a few guys there who don't play at home, Mbokazi and Lyle Foster.
Yeah.
I think that's all.
Yeah,
and everybody else is from the home group, from the home league, which was a true African story, a true representation of what the other African countries should be doing. But of course, just like the majority of the other African countries and African football fans, we're not happy about the xenophobia. Not that we hate South Africa, not that we hate any of the players.
Left a bitter taste in the mouth.
Yeah, it left a bitter taste. I was happy that they recovered and made a good account of themselves in the other games. Yes, very impressive. Good show for Mafokeng, a good show for Tebza, a good show for Ron Williams. But for me, overall, the most impressive boy was Mbokazi.
Yeah,
he's a beast of a defender.
Absolutely.
He's a beast of a defender.
Yeah.
He's way
level.
bigger than the MLS. He's
should
up
be
there
in the
with
European leagues,
and the rest.
Yeah.
The other left-footed centre backs, the Gabriels, Upamecano's, just a few things to fine-tune, but he's still a young boy. But yeah, very good showing by South Africa. You would say that for someone who's been away from the World Cup for a long time, they made a good account of themselves.
All right, there you go. And the Hugo Bruce era has also come to an end. We're waiting for the next step. We all know that everyone is backing Pitso Mosimane. Yeah, to come in. And he's also, been about
it's
saying...
about time.
Yeah, it's about time for him to win the Nations Cup. Yeah. And guess what? The AFCON that is coming up next is coming home in Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. Yeah. So, Pit's on the touchline. You just never know, man. It will be crazy.
I think it's the only option they have.
Yeah, they have to. They have to do that and make it happen. Anyways, Tunisia won't have a lot to say about you. You brought in Haverena to maybe cash in. He didn't do anything anyway. The team was sent packing, and
Yeah.
there was not any change there. So
I think Tunisia
yeah,
did what the Uganda Cranes did at AFCON. They
yes,
looked clueless. They looked out of place. They were like tourists, to be honest.
they just did not show up, and
Yeah.
that boy that schooled the Uganda Cranes at the
Yeah,
AFCON.
Jibri,
Yeah,
the
Jibrani
former
Bal.
United
Yeah,
kid.
was critical of Tunisian football and all. But there you go. That's the African touch and the African story of the 10 nations that were competing there. But Harold,
Yeah.
we also need to talk about the popular faces on the continent that
Yeah.
probably played their last
Last
World
World
Cup
Cup, yes.
edition. You can start from Algiers in Riyad Mahrez. You can cross to Egypt to Mohamed Salah. You can even go to Sadio Mane. Pretty sure
Yeah.
that he will not play at the next World Cup for
Yeah.
Senegal.
Yeah.
And a whole host of other countries. Vozinha, I don't think he's going to be in goal for Cape Verde.
Don't be too sure.
By the time they play again,
Teve Woma.
if they ever qualify again.
Yeah.
But those popular faces on the African continent that we know
Yeah.
are signing out. What have they served African football well, and where do you see those replacements coming in, especially in their countries?
I think Riyad Mahrez
Yeah,
and Sadio Mane made a very good account of themselves. They won their countries the AFCON during that time.
yeah,
The only one that hasn't come to roost is Mo Salah. Mo Salah has been the best footballer in the world for a minute. At least Ballon d'Or shortlist, top 3, top 5 for the last so many years.
Yeah.
But then he hasn't replicated much of that form for Egypt. More, I feel like more would he had a cast as good as Mane's
yeah.
for the Senegal and Egypt, but every time the chance came up, he fell short. Every time the chance came up, he fell short. So I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to give it to at least play an AFCON before he
Before he retired.
hangs his boots to sort of like make good of his career. Senegal, Mane leaves that team in very able hands. Very able hands.
Too much talent, man.
Too much talent in there.
Yeah.
Same as Mahrez. For me, I think in this last World Cup, he's just like an iconic figure.
Yeah.
But the team could have done without him. But they've had tremendous careers. They've been trailblazers for the continent. You feel bad that they didn't spread their wings as much at the World Cups, because I think each of them has 3 or so World Cups, but none is memorable. Senegal tried at the last World Cup, but still fell short. You feel like between Senegal, Algeria, of course, Morocco came through. They always had that one last step to make at least the quarters. So at least the semis of the World Cup.
Yeah.
More like the Samoa Giants and the rest were. But I think also that Dede.
Yeah,
Dede
I was about to
Ayew,
mention that
that's,
Jordan Ayew is also
Jordan
done.
Ayew, I think
You don't
that's also
expect
his
him to bounce
last.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that makes it a bit difficult for the continent. Also, in a special way, the world hasn't seen Victor Osimhen
Yeah.
at the World Cup stage,
Exactly.
and most likely won't see him.
I think Victor is a product of the Nigerian corruption,
Yeah,
like most other teams. And his suffering has been sponsored by the corruption at home. Because man for man, that's a semi-final, a World Cup semi-final team.
yeah,
That Nigeria team, man for man,
yeah.
semi-final team.
Top
And
team.
imagine all the support Nigeria would get from Nigerians in the diaspora
If they played at that
if they
stage,
played at that stage. If they played, for example, in the USA.
that would be crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
They
we played
have all the
Nigeria.
talent.
We played Nigeria in the AFCON in phase, and it was crazy, man. From the media to all the fans.
Nigeria is the biggest nation on this continent.
Yeah,
The biggest nation
they're
on this
everywhere.
continent. You see how Uganda is struggling to get players, to get players to naturalize.
Yes.
Nigeria has almost the population of Uganda living outside Nigeria. We're 50 million people. Nigerians, I think, are 150 or 180, whatever. But they have at least the population of Uganda living outside Nigeria. Imagine that.
It's crazy.
And when you look at their team, the Onohas, Osimhen,
Ademola Lookman,
Demola Lukman, Okocha's kid,
Iwobi.
Iwobi. They're world beaters.
Yeah.
They're world beaters. But they fall short because of their federation.
Because of the
and all
federation and everything.
and the corruption at home.
Yeah. All right. So there you go. Congo, Cedric Bakambu, maybe not. Gael Kakuta has already retired.
Yeah.
Such a talent. So some of these faces won't see in case
Yeah.
those nations return to the World Cup. But for sure, the African continent was served very, very good meals,
Yeah.
exciting football, and the talent was out there. And a 48-team World Cup probably is what Africa is proud of, because 10 teams at the tournament
And
was
the
such an
rumors that they'll
experience.
go to 64.
We're going to head to that in a bit, and we'll discuss that as well. But away from the African continent, Harold, when the World Cup was starting, or every time the World Cup starts, there are boys that we all know have everyone's attention. Brazil, Germany, all these guys especially, when you look at the history, they're the ones that have dominated the World Cup. We are at the semi-final stage. You're about to wrap it up, and none of them, including Belgium, are in the last four. A big talking point, especially for Brazil. What's your take on?
I was reading recently.
Yes.
As I'm a Brazil, just like any other World Cup fan.
Yeah.
If you're a World Cup fan, you're a Brazil fan.
Yeah.
Deep down inside. And I was rooting for them in this World Cup. But I read from two icons during the World Cup, Cafu and Rivaldo. One, Cafu said, for as long as our players are leaving Brazil at a very young age to go and play in the Premier League, we will not compete in Europe. When I read into that, we will not compete at the World Cup. When I read into that, he's saying that, and you know how English football is.
Yes.
Right now, the best English footballers are Jude Bellingham, Declan Rice, and Bukayo Saka.
Yeah.
Those guys would be farmers in Brazil. And not for lack of talent, but for lack of the yoga bonito, the flair, and the way they do things. So he was saying, look, we have kids going to England instead of Spain.
Yeah.
And that distorts their football. And you can see that in the Brazil team. The Brazil team plays like England. And then Rivaldo was saying that they have fallen off from their flair days to
just winning.
Yeah, to just winning the
Yeah.
game. Like you just want to win the game, and people are not comfortable in the shells they're playing in. And Brazil put out a midfield that, and I was speaking to Ian Mutenda, and he asked me, but who else would they have picked? They put out a midfield of Casemiro, Paqueta, and Bruno Guimaraes.
Yes.
And bro, I was like, what's happening here? Like they're in the pits. And you look at when you shred that team to bits. Yes, Alisson, top goalkeeper. I had a problem with them playing two left centre backs, left-footed centre backs. You have Marquinhos and Gabriel, and that's how they conceded against Morocco. They slot the ball in the middle in between on their right side, on Gabriel's right side, which is his blind side, and Saibari slots home. But that was a problem there, and you feel like Ancelotti struggled to accommodate both. You got the right back, left back, negligible individuals. You don't even want to know who was there. They tried to bring in Danilo, but he's on his last legs. The midfield, Casemiro, last legs. But at the end of the day, you felt like they were just waiting for a big team to send them home. It didn't even have to be an exceptional Norway. Just a normal Norway, and they'd go home. What can they do going forward? Of course, they can't stop players from coming to the Premier League. But they could maybe and try as much as they can to sort of like prepare the replacements for the Casemiros way in time, because at every World Cup they've been in, they've fallen short because of that midfield.
Yeah.
And now they have still come and fallen short because of the midfield, but they might not make any changes. They might not do anything. Before Brazilian football would go to parliament, for Romario to go to the World Cup, for
Yeah.
so and so to go to the World Cup, now you feel that there's no one. They didn't leave anyone back.
Yeah.
They didn't leave anyone back. They came with everything they had and they still fell short. Of course, a bit unfortunate that the Barcelona kid, the left-footed kid Rafinha,
Yeah.
gets injured. Bit unfortunate Guimaraes misses that penalty.
Yeah.
The shining star for me was Vini.
Yeah.
It was Vini. He's the one going to carry Brazil for so many years. You feel like when they bring in the other kids like Andre Santos from United and the Chelsea kid.
Yeah, but of course, Neymar is out.
Yeah, sad to see
done.
Neymar go.
Yeah.
I think it was about time. Neymar, I think outside Ronaldo and Messi,
Yes.
Neymar has been the best footballer of the last 10, 15 years. He's always been iconic. But I feel like in comparison to Messi and Ronaldo, his lifestyle put him out early because Neymar is just 34.
Yeah.
Neymar is just 34. He should be able to carry that country. But that's Brazilian.
Yeah, but Carlo Ancelotti, I think, retains the job.
He
He
has
says,
to. They
yeah,
can't do
they're
better.
still building and seeing a way forward and all of that.
I
yeah.
feel, though, that in the near future,
Yeah.
Luis Felipe,
Luis Felipe.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
the
he was-
former left back at
yeah,
Atletico
yeah,
Madrid.
former left
I
back
think
at
won
Atletico
the league in
Madrid,
Brazil.
Chelsea, won the league. He
Yeah,
had a good
with
showing.
Mineiro, if I'm
yeah,
not mistaken. Yeah.
in Cruzeiro.
Cruzeiro. Yeah.
He had a good showing with Cruzeiro at the Club World Cup.
Yeah.
And I think now he's moving to one of the European teams.
Yeah.
That should be the guy they look up to.
To try and
He's
salvage
played
Brazil.
in Europe for a good time, unlike most of their other coaches.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's also coached at home, so he understands it very well.
Yeah. Okay, that's Brazil for you. Briefly, Germany, Belgium, anything to write home about?
Germany is a shadow of its former self. Like you can't wake up and say, I would have that striker, I'd have that defender. From Neuer to Kai Havertz. Finished. Those guys cannot enter any of the teams left. Any of the teams in the last 8 of the tournament. None of them can play. And the one thing that everybody has to know is that you can't go into a World Cup without a striker. The World Cup is for strikers, star players.
People who are going to bang in those goals when you need them.
I mean, the biggest player in that team was Kai Havertz.
Yeah.
Imagine, Kai Havertz.
Jamal Musiala hasn't popped up like he was supposed to.
No, and he didn't have a good season.
Yeah,
Maybe
Bayern,
because of that leg break he had at the Club World Cup.
Yeah.
But Jamal Musiala wasn't quite it. His kid Mencha tried to come and show up, but at the end of the day, Germany would brush away Paraguay.
Yes.
But they would blow them away, but they didn't. And that for me says a lot about
The team
the team.
and Nagelsmann not exactly
but
doing
even when
his
you
job.
come back home, Peter,
Yeah.
Bayern is not carried by Germans anymore.
there's an Englishman there having fun.
Yeah. Bayern is
Hurricane.
not carried by Germans anymore. So that should tell you that
The story has changed.
the story has changed.
Belgium.
Belgium, for me, they were suffering from fatigue.
Yeah.
They had a golden generation that underachieved, or that maybe every time they tried to break the ceiling, and I'll call it a glass ceiling because you're seeing the semi-final,
Yeah.
the World Cup semi-final the other side, but you're meeting France, you're meeting Brazil and the likes. So they had that golden generation, the Kevin De Bruyne's, the Lukaku's, and
The Hazards.
the Hazards, the Courtois, the Meuniers, and all those other guys. But they always fell short of beating the stalwarts of Europe.
Which is very important at a tournament like the World Cup.
Yes.
Akin to what they did to Brazil in Qatar in
Yes.
2022
Yes.
with that talent. Just that they did not, eventually reach the final and all.
Yeah. For me, in this World Cup, they exceeded expectations.
Yeah.
I thought they would drop out as first opportunity. But they huffed and puffed. Very unfortunate. That has been their story, the story of the golden generation. And I read so much about how they got there. So deliberate, so deliberate. They did something akin to what Brian Omoni is doing right now
with the federation.
with the federation. They went and picked the best stars from all over the countries, the Lukakus, the Kevin De Bruyne's, the Vini companies, and put them together in the four biggest clubs in Antwerp and Brussels. And it paid off. It paid off. They only fell short because they always met a team that has been doing what they were doing for the rest of their lives.
And maybe
From
they wanted it
inception.
more.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
wanted it more in.
All right. So, I mean, right now the World Cup is headed to its final stages, and I can tell you that France, Argentina, Spain, England
Yeah.
are the ones that are gunning for this one. And we're going to just briefly break down a run of these four nations, and maybe tell you who we think will eventually come out on top, and who will walk away with the top scorers, gong, because the battle is still out there for everyone to see. Let's move to the teams that are at this stage and talk about, first of all, France. With the quality that they possess.
Star-studded, but I tell you what, Peter,
Yeah.
that France has galvanized themselves around the dictator, and what we throw at them as scone, we're throwing at it as scone. They made lemonade of it. And Mbappe is one player you don't have to give him two chances. He doesn't need an invitation to score a goal.
No.
One chance, one goal. So they have benefited a lot from that chemistry between Olise and Mbappe. Dembele has been a bit sidelined. He's not as cool as them,
Yeah.
cool in quotes.
Yeah.
But you feel like they have too much manpower. When you don't get Doué, you get Bakola. When you don't get Dembele, you get Doué or Bakola. The strength of this French team is in their attack. They've maximized almost each and every chance that they get. And whoever is going to win the World Cup has to stop Mbappe and Olise.
Absolutely.
Those are the two guys to stop, which will not be easy.
Which will not be easy. Let's shift to the other three that are that are also potentially going to try and make it to going to actually try and win the World Cup.
Yeah.
Spain is the other country. We all know that in the past 4 editions, okay, maybe 3 editions of the World Cup,
Yeah.
they've had a team that is so quality.
Yeah.
Maybe similar to what France has now. But if you look at the last edition in 2022, there were a bit of question marks. This one, though, well, looks like they're putting something together. The Spanish team. What do you make of their World Cup campaign so far?
They have had an almost spotless campaign.
Yeah.
I think Unai Simon has only conceded once,
Yeah.
1 goal the whole tournament. They haven't scored as much as the other teams in the tournament because I think in the scoring side, they're bottom of the 4. But the advantage that Spain has always had from when we started watching it in 2000, I think 2006,
Yeah.
the Marco Senas,
Yeah.
the David Villas, and their ilk, is that they'll always keep the ball.
Yeah.
They'll always starve you of the ball. The whole time they'll starve you of the ball. And then, of course, if you don't have the ball, then you can't hurt them.
Yeah.
The downside for them has been that Yamal hasn't turned up yet. Probably maybe
Yeah.
the pressure has caught up with him, but he also came into the World Cup with a hamstring injury. But for me, like I said before, and they would try, if Spain wins it, they'll be trying to defy it, but you need a talisman. The other 3 teams
Have a talisman.
Messi, Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham,
Yeah.
Kylian Mbappe, Olise. Spain doesn't have that unless Yamal decides to
Step up at this
step
point.
up and turn up.
Yeah.
And that up until now has been their kryptonite. In that, yes, you'll pass the ball, you'll have, because they have the highest average ball possession at 59%, which is crazy. And my man, Mikel Merino, has been coming through.
Yeah.
He's been their Mbappe or their Messi in the last 2 games.
Okay, the 3 Lions are also in the final 4, and they're led by Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham. This England has dug deep. They've been fighting for a result.
They have the character.
Yeah.
And there's only one man to credit for that, Thomas Tuchel. Southgate did so well over his 8 years,
Yeah.
but he lacked that X factor
Yeah.
which Tuchel has, and not to rain on Southgate's parade, but maybe when you're English, it's
Yeah.
not in
It's
you
not in
to,
you to
yeah, you,
have that fight.
yeah,
Yeah.
to that extra bite. Thomas Tuchel has he came under a lot of criticism when he chose who he chose for the World Cup.
Yeah.
I mean, leaving the Cole Palmers, the Harry Maguires, Trent
Fordens.
Alexander, the Fordens back home.
Mm.
But now he's been vindicated. It looks like he knew what he was doing. There is a player that maybe we were not sure about, or maybe the English were not sure about going into the World Cup, and that's Jude Bellingham. People were even saying, oh, we should play Morgan Rogers, we should play so and so, but he's come in clutch. Now,
Big time.
that's a player capable of winning you
A
the
World
World
Cup.
Cup. Yes, he has the talent, he has the aura, and he has the luck for goals. He pops up from nowhere. My only problem with England is that they're on the volatile side of the draw. England, Argentina, there's a lot of history there because this one is it's more historical than it's football.
Yes.
So Argentina, England, I think they played maybe of 6 times or so.
Yeah.
And there's like 3 famous ones. One led to the introduction of the yellow cards.
Yeah.
I think that was 1966 when England hosted it.
Yeah.
And
England won that one.
yeah,
1-0.
England, yes, they won it 1-0.
Yeah.
But in that game, the thing that stood out the most, the Argentina captain, I forget his name, was red carded.
Yeah.
And before that match, yellow cards and red cards were verbal.
Yeah.
Tell you, Peter Tabu, you have.
You've been booked.
Yeah. Now the referee of the game, I think, was German or French.
Yeah.
And he's telling this guy, please get off. And I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. And he stayed on for 10 or so minutes.
Yeah.
After that, of course, Keston, the head of the Referees Association, went ahead and got inspired by the traffic lights and came up with the yellow card and the red card and blah, blah,
Interesting.
blah.
Yeah.
From 1966, there were a bit of friendlies there, then to
The Maradona.
the Maradona one, the hand of God,
Yeah.
and of course the goal of the century,
Yeah.
where Maradona beats maybe 6 Englishmen and then slots past Shilton in goal.
Yeah.
Now, but before we get there, there's the actual political history. Argentina colonized by Spain, and then England being the world power at the time. Argentina was the biggest producer of meat.
Yeah.
Then they fight over the Falklands, the Malvinas, as they call them back then. So there's a bit of history. It's fiery, it's feisty. And fortunately or unfortunately, Messi has never played in this fixture. I don't think the English have enough answers for Messi. And that for me might be the difference maker in this fixture. So yeah, that for me is the problem for England. I don't think they have enough to contain Messi.
So, anyways, as we conclude this World Cup chat, as we speak right now, Kylian Mbappe and Lionel Messi are tied at 8 goals. But also, I think Jude Bellingham and Harry Kane are on 6 goals.
Yeah.
So, with a couple of games left in this tournament, any of those could grab it. But of course, Mbappe and Messi are front runners. Who do you think is taking what they call the pichichi
in World Cup?
in World Cup
nomenclature.
Yeah.
For me, whoever is going to win it has to go to the final.
Oh.
They have to go to the final.
Yeah.
And this is harder to predict, harder than the World Cup to predict.
Yeah.
Because I tell you what, in the last final, Mbappe scored 3. Ultimately, it's between Mbappe and Messi.
All right. Thank you very much, Harold. We've definitely broken down the World Cup. At least at this stage, everyone knows it's done. I know there's 2 more rounds to go, but for sure, by Sunday, we'll be done and dusted. But the core of the entire show was the African story at the World Cup, which I think you who is watching now has enjoyed. So thank you very much, bro. I appreciate you coming through. And as always, keep it pitch side, subscribe. Cheers.